Hello again, and the pellet review we're doing today is on Arms Diabolo Match Pellets. These are a wad cutter, described as world class. You get 500 in a tin, and they're an 8.02 grain pellet. Now I bought these for two reasons. The first reason was because I wanted to see how far you could actually shoot a wad cutter. Accurately, that is, which I haven't actually got around to doing yet. And the second one was I wanted to see how much more effective these were when used on live quarry. And as I found out, very effective. Now, at some point in this, when I move into the close-up of the pellets, I will be discussing an execution of one of my targets. And at that point, you might want to close your ears. I'll give you a little bit of heads up if you've got a bit of a weak stomach for that and papers your thing. So, if I do offend, I apologise for that, but it's a point really that needs discussing. And there's only one really way to do it, and that's describing it quite graphically. But yeah, we'll move on and we'll get through that very, very quickly so we can get back onto the review and keep as many people happy as we can. So, where are we? Let's look at the tin in detail. So you get this really bright, high contrast day glow pink and black. I mean, if it's bright pink, you're generally going to look at it, aren't you? You get this quite clever design here where they took a picture of the inside of the tin and then overlaid the logos on top of that. I think that's quite a clever idea because it's quite a visual way of showing you what pellets you're actually getting. Whereas when you get ones that don't show a picture of the pellet, or if you get one that's a CAD drawing of the pellet, they don't always, look the way they should. So inside the tin, we'll have a quick look on the back of it actually, because as you can see, Czech Republic, so that's where these are made. These pellets were bought 3 months ago, so they were made back in 2014, as you can see. Now this 4.49, I don't know if this is in reference to the head of the pellet, the bore as I call it in my little diagrams. But they come out of the same factory as the JSB pellets, so they're generally going to be high quality anyway. Whether they're world class, well, that'll come to the front as we get through it. So pop tins, again, got to treat these with a bit of care when you're transiting them. They do tend to burst open in your bag. I've had that once, twice now. It's a bit annoying. Inside the tin, you get this nice little makeup pad, which is a decent reference that you're going to end up with a decent tin of pellets there. Let's look at the difference between the pictures. So the picture on the lid of the tin and the picture actually inside the tin. One side of the tin's a bit duller, but then again they're going to be jazzed up, lacquered, polished, cleaned, everything else to make them look as high quality as humanly possible. Inside the tin, when you look in the corners, there's not really any debris in there. They're actually a really, really clean pellet. Form of them, there's very little in the way of split lines, and any coating that is put on them is quite evenly distributed. When you look around here, there's not really any rough coating where it's been sat as it's been coated, if they are even coated. It's not always easy to tell, but I think most pellets these days do have a coating on them, just to sort of help as a lubrication. So that's that. So let's look at the close-up of these. And here we have it. Now hopefully the camera's going to focus today without intervention of the force. No, we needed to use the force and that ain't worked either. So that's the pellets there. As you can see in the top right one there, this pellet here is I'm going to stop pointing at these. That pellet there's the deformation one, so only the tail deforms on these. I have had pellets where you can just literally squish them. They're that soft, even the head deforms. So this is a good quality, the run-of-the-mill sort of quality really, if only the tail deforms. You don't get many damaged pellets inside the tin, from what I've seen. In fact, I don't think I've had one damaged one from inside the tin. Looking at the one on the left here, as you can see, there's one laid on its side. All the weight distribution is to the left of the waist, so it's probably about 40%, 35% forward bias, and the tail itself is just a thick wall, similar to what the VMX was. If you look on the bottom left one there, you can see in the bottom there you've got like a tapered down to the head, down to the waist, sorry. Then you've got a second taper, which or chamfer, whatever you want to call it, that flares out towards the base. So it's got quite a thick walled tail on this, or skirt, as I referenced them in my data. The head, as I said, is a wad-cutter. Now I bought these for execution of quarry just to see if they do more damage based on a YouTube video. So if you're not into that, I'll wiggle my fingers in front of the camera if you want to stick your fingers in your ears and turn the sound off, etc. I'm going to start that now. So I shot this out at 42 yards on quarry after doing a fair bit of practice and realising that, you know, these were going to be usable on steel targets. It hit the rabbit straight in the head, quite cleanly, exactly where I wanted it to go, or to within 1/4 of an inch of where I wanted it to go. The rabbit just literally fell on its side. It didn't think it, back leg twitched a little bit, but not too much. So I gave it a few minutes, walked over to the target, flipped it over, and you know, the damage on the opposite side was what shocked me. The eye was hanging out. It was all the left hand side, well, the right hand side where I'd hit it. The left hand eye was hanging out, but the right hand side was all caved in. It had really done a lot of damage to this little creature. So it's very effective as a hunting pellet. Okay, so wiggle the fingers time to let people know that we can turn the sound back on. Yep, they're a really good quality pellet in my opinion. When you load them into the breech, they don't vary so much that you notice it like you do on the VMXs that we reviewed. I don't think I covered that actually, but the VMXs didn't fit as well as what the day states and these do. So when you load these into the breech, it's quite universal fit. There's not one tighter than the other. What is the point I'm trying to get across there? They all go in quite consistently, with ease. It's the best way to say it. Okay, so moving on to the target now. Now then, this is the target that was shot. It's shot on the same day as the other ones that I've done more recently, mainly because, you know, it's easier to do it in batches than it is to do them one at a time. It's cheaper as well. So this is the cleaning group. Now this was shot straight after the VMXs, and it didn't take much to get it sort of shooting consistently. I dare say that had that fly not have been in there, which was like 4th or 5th shot I think, about mid-range, and probably just me on that one. But still, 18mm when you're cleaning, you know, you don't need to do much cleaning in order to get these shooting right, you know. But always, you know, make sure you've got the right lead on your barrel before you, or consistent lead before with the pellet you're shooting, just to save any maiming activities if you're using for quarry or this, that and the other. But you'll always have a preferred pellet. These are the 3 groups. They score a 15mm, a 15mm and a 12mm group. So that's pretty good. And as you can see, there is 1 or 2 flies on there, but they don't really make that much of a difference in the grand scheme of things. So there you go, there's your 15mm. And again, you've got, hold on, it's hard to do this. There you go, there's your other 15mm, and then you've got your 12mm again. Like I said, the fly doesn't make much of a difference in there, and there's your 12mm group there. Okay, so at this point we'll go over to the scores on the doors. Now then, what I'd like to have done with this, I know it's not the greatest way to do it, but unfortunately I do cheap and cheerful. So here's what are you doing? Down here we've got the spread of the data. So you've got your height, your head bore, which is your head diameter, your skirt length, and your weight. So what we're going to do, we'll look at the spread here for each of them. So they're quite a tight spread, which will give a reasonable quality score, I do believe. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to quickly do the head bore and drag it down so we can see what the average head bore is and see if it's close to that 4.49 that's on the tin. Yeah, sort of, yeah, not too bad. Not exactly on it, but saying that, with the spread that you get in there, 0.03mm, 4.49 plus 0.03, you know what, it's only 0.02 off where it says on the bottom of that tin. So it could be, if you look on the bottom of these tins, that's an inkling of your actual head diameter on your pellet. But, you know, don't take my word for it, I'm just guessing there, backed up with some findings. And the last thing I want to look at here is the mean weight. As you'll see, I'm listing all the means anyway as I go, and the average mean is 8.08 grain. When we look at the tin, which is 8.02 grains, just in the bottom left there, bottom right, sorry, you know, it is quite clear that we've got a good quality pellet there. You know, pretty consistent on the weight. So then that reflects really in the group, and I mean, these aren't as aerodynamic as what the other ones are. So with all the means and everything in there, I've got to put up the cost now. I'll look at the top sheet, and here you can see the dimensional spreads, which gives it a quality score of actually the weight consistency, the spread of the weight is quite good as well, which we I don't know if that was in there on that one or not, but there you go, you can see the spread there, which gives it a quality score of 0.52. The cost score, these are the one there, you can see just in the right hand side where I purchased them from, or I didn't purchase them, but one of them was purchased, which was an $8.99, and then the rest of them were off the two websites that I came up with. There's your quantity score, sorry. You've got your, yeah, it just nips out there a little bit, but we'll discuss that in a minute. On the quality score, and then delivery score comes out as an average of 14, with your 15 plus your 12, which gives it an overall score of 81. Now comments on that are good for paper punching at 25 yards on an indoor range, which has now changed to they're actually damn good for hunting as well at short to mid ranges. So there's the quality score for the Arms Diabolo matches. It gets an 81. Slips right in between the VMX and the Daystate Sovereign. And yeah, so this 0.52, the quality score, it just nips out. It's a bit unfair, but unfortunately it is just the way that the cookie crumbles, isn't it? So yeah, it's scored ultimately the same sort of way as the Daystates almost, apart from the quality score. You get a 3 times a 3 times a 3, times a 3 times again a 3 there, which brings it to 81. So not too bad a pellet in all honesty, is it? Yep, for paper punching they give quite a good clear indication and a nice round hole. So if you're knocking a dot out of a golf target at the local range for a charity or something, it's not a bad pellet to use. And also for quarry, it does a lot of damage, and well worth it. They're relatively cheap, in comparison to other stuff. So yeah, have a go with them, see what you think. Feedback, feel free to comment, don't troll. As always, stay safe and shoot straight. Thanks for listening, bye.